So there are a lot of times that us knife guys will make a compromise of looks over performance because there's a lot of knives out there that are really cool looking, but they don't perform as well. This is one where you don't. This is the CMB made knives Dharma. We're gonna look at it because it is that perfect mix of attractiveness and performance. Well, like I said in the intro, guys, I am so impressed at how good this knife is. There is no compromise, like I said. So this is the CMB made knives Dharma, and this is absolutely a cutting beast and a beautiful knife all in one. You're not giving up anything. This is done in carbon fiber, titanium bolsters, and an M390 blade that is just so thin behind the edge, it screams through everything. Beautiful drop point aperture. First things first, we're gonna put a spec sheet up here, if I can find one, and we'll get some size comparisons out of the way. So your first knife is gonna be, because it was in my pocket, the PMP Aries, and this is another knife that you don't have to compromise performance to get looks. I really love this knife. Your next knife is going to be the Benchmade 940, pretty much a standard size comparison these days. Most people are going to know the average size of a Benchmade 940. So you can see it's a good bit bigger. And then as always, your final knife for comparison is the Chris Reese Knives Sabenza, which is a very good size comparison. You can see I've got them here. There's a little bit of parallax, but tip for tip, tail to tail, pivot to pivot, they are almost identical. This one might be just a hair longer. So really good comparison there. You guys should know that for a size reference. Let's get rid of this and talk about this amazing knife. So when Jared sent this to me, I immediately fell in love with it. I mean, not just because it looks so good. It was very hard to get this knife out of my pocket because on top of how good it looks, it is one of the best performing knives you're gonna find. You got an M390 blade that's done in a very good drop point with the belt grinder or burger grinder satin on it. So you get this really good look to it. It's one of my favorite blade finishes. CMB made knives, all of them have been ground exceptionally thin. This thing slices and cuts so well, and it's in a material that holds up to that. So it's an M390. So even though it is very thin behind the edge, it's really robust. The grind transitions beautifully down. No hiccups in this, no thickening on the point. You've got this beautiful blade that comes down. Reverse flick or back flip, you can absolutely do that. It has a front flipper, what looks like a front flipper here. I can't make it work. I think it's because I got carpal tunnel, but it is absolutely amazing. This thing cuts so well that I had to be careful a couple times. I almost cut myself because it would just go through material faster than you thought it was going to, and you would be in a hazard of like, oh, I almost got myself with that. Has held up, stayed super sharp. And not only is it a top performing knife, this thing is drop dead gorgeous, and it's got a couple little hidden things about it here. So you've got these beautiful titanium bolsters and just gorgeous carbon fiber with aluminum handles. You've got a beautiful titanium backspacer and pocket clip. But the cool thing about this is not a frame lock. Those are actually, each one of these handles, this is a true bolster. This is absolutely separate. And then there's a liner. So each one of these scales is 3-piece construction. You have a bolster, you have the scale over, and then you have the inside liner, which I didn't notice until later that those are absolutely separate from the titanium. So these are screwed on bolsters. So absolutely cool on that. You've got really good weight. It's not too heavy. And just some beautiful action. I have cut so much with this that I'm at the point where I have to do the review on this. There's just no way I can keep this in pocket. Transitions on this are beautiful. They did a really good job of transitioning these bolsters and carbon fiber, which is hard to do because much softer material with that carbon fiber. You can just barely feel them. And then on the internals, because there's so much carbon fiber, they really didn't have to do a lot of weight reduction, but they still did. There's cutouts in those aligners that make it even lighter. So what was already a fairly light knife is already lighter. Really good access to the lock bar. And like I said, just beautiful. So there are a couple of small things about this that I have to bring up. Nothing is ever perfect. There's just a couple of little things. So we'll turn this around. We'll talk about the little negative things right after you hear from this video sponsor, Coffee Brand Coffee.
No one likes to watch ads in the middle of a video. I don't like putting them in, but I do know that I got to support what I do here. So I partnered with companies that I know I can trust. And today's sponsor is Coffee Brand Coffee. They're delivering quality coffee, freshly roasted on demand, ground to order and delivered to your door, and they're not doing anything political, so you don't have to worry about a company that you're supporting that is supporting causes that you might not agree with, because they don't support any causes. They just simply take the money and put it back into making a better product. So I would appreciate if you both support their new small business and my channel by checking out Coffee Brand Coffee and looking at their offerings. Use the link below and my coupon code Crazy Sharp on their website. It's Crazy Sharp, all one word, capital C, capital S. Let's get back to this.
So there's not a lot to be said that's bad about this knife. First things first, the jimping on it is, on the flipper tab, really aggressive. It really is aggressive. It can become uncomfortable because these corners are very sharp. So in the cut, if you've got your finger up on it, it can get a little uncomfortable, a little sharp on that. And then on the lock bar as well. I'm typically not a fan of jimping on a lock bar. If you're going to do it, I like these edges to be a little softer, because especially when you got something that's kind of thin like that, you don't have a lot of material there, it can feel a little sharp. The other thing about it too, there's this tab didn't need to be here. This really doesn't work. I thought maybe you could wave off of it. I tried a couple times to use it as a front flipper. Did not work for me. And I just think that that was kind of wasted material. And when you do that, they've cut this off really short, which brings us to the next thing, is that in the travel, you've got this huge detent ball that partway across, it's out. And it's not so much that I care about seeing the ball, but when you do that and you don't have as much material across it, you can see that arc where the detent ball rides. Now that's just an aesthetic thing, but there are many, many knives that have a detent ball that work exactly the same way, and you don't see that on the knife. It has to do with how it's configured and things like that. You don't see that on these knives at all. I just find it aesthetically less pleasing to see that arc. The only other two things, one of them is an aesthetic thing, we'll save that for last. This aperture, while it does work, is really close. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's very, very close. And all of the CMB made knives so far, they've had a good aperture for flipping, but the problem is it's been really close in here. And sometimes it's hard to get in on it all the way. And then the final thing for me personally, I would fix this. I would give this a stonewash. I don't like blasted titanium. I've never allowed one of my knives that had a blasted titanium finish to stay blasted, because you can see right there, it shows all of the little scuffs, nicks, and snail trails so badly, so easily. And when you're wanting to try and keep a knife nice, especially something like this that is almost a piece of pocket jewelry, you're probably going to wind up, that's going to drive you nuts. So, I mean, other than that, this is just, I mean, it's, for all intents and purposes, almost perfect. The things that I'm mentioning are all minor little things, and most of them are things I don't like. So, you know, take it as you will. It's an opinion-based thing, but this thing is absolutely gorgeous. One of the best cutters that I've had on the channel in a while. And it's that all of the CMB made knives are like that. They've got their edge geometry down. So let's turn this around, do some final thoughts, and send you back out about your day.
I can honestly say, guys, I have yet to have a bad CMB made knife show up. They have all been amazing. Their cheaper options are still really good. They have got their edge geometry down. They are amazing knives, in my opinion. And this one is just, I think, the best one that I've seen so far yet. So, I mean, the cool fact of having a 3-piece construction on each side, you've got the bolster, the scale, and a liner. Just, it's a little over the top for what you're paying. These things are under $400, I think. So, guys, that's it on this one. I hope you liked the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. Tell me why. If you want to support the channel, like, share, subscribe, drop a comment. You can also support the channel financially by either using my sponsors, Coffee Brand Coffee and Tempered Trail, they share a coupon code of Crazy Sharp, all one word, capital C, capital S, Crazy Sharp, saves you 5% at checkout. The Coffee Brand Coffee, it's built into the link down below. You can support it that way, or you can use my Amazon store, which is also down below, just below the sponsors. Take that link, pin it to your browser, use it for any Amazon shopping you're going to do. And the other way is you can get in on my membership, where we've all got access to my Gilded server, which is just like Discord, which is a lot of fun. It's a community that's now worldwide, over 100 members. Everybody hangs out, goofs off, shares things. They've made some really good friendships. The baseline and premium tier members are automatically entered into the giveaways that I do on the Gilded server. They're separate from the stuff on YouTube. And the premium tier members have access to a sharpening tutorial series here on YouTube behind the paywall. Guys, that's it on this one. Keep it clean in the comments section. I love you all. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. And I'll see you in the next video.